I do want to thank you for joining me today on my YouTube channel. This is Serena, and today I wanted to do a bit of a test on this canvas panel and play around with some inks. I've got some FW acrylic inks that I want to play around with, and I probably will finish off this drawing of the bird on the branch with some acrylics. But I did want to do somewhat of a mixed media piece. So I'm going to play around also with a pattern here. That's a double sheet, so you can't really see it, but I'll take it out later. You'll take a look, and it's kind of a leaf pattern. So we'll play around with that also with just some cheapy craft paint. I almost said crap paint. It's craft paint. A lot of craft stores carry these things. They're only a couple dollars. So, I want to prove to you that you don't have to have very expensive items to do some fun art. And the canvas panel is just one I got off of Amazon, and it's just a cheapy panel. It's not, from a high-end store or anything, but just to play around and have some fun, because I haven't done that in a while. But for now, what I want to do is just start with a basic layer of a wash. I want to go ahead and paint around the leaf and the bird and use the inks as kind of a background. Now, I wish I would have gone all the way across so I could have a a nice division here, because I've never used water on gessoed canvas board, and I'm not even adding another layer of gesso here. I'm just kind of going as it is. I am trying to see, yeah, that's kind of not very even as far as the water, and I don't want to wet it too much because I don't know what this gesso is like. But let's get some of this in here. I'm going to start with, I'm going to be brave and start with the Liquitex Turquoise Deep. So let's see how this works. And I think I should really drop this on my brush, not just on there. So I'm going to have a little sky in here and see if I can get a little bit of hint of a sky for that. That's kind of doing what there we go. That's kind of doing what I want. Isn't that nice? Wow, that's a little bit too much. Okay, I think we can stop with the sky because that is a very strong color. Now, I want to see, really want to go in after the fact and do this, but I don't want it quite so linear. You know what I mean? Like you can see, oh, it starts there and stops there. So let me do that. And I also want to add some yellow. I shook this one up already. This is the FW acrylic ink in, what is this? Juan Brilliant. You've all seen these in the craft stores, at least in the US. Again, I'm going to put it on my brush here. Whoa, I don't want to drip it underneath. I'm just going to put some on my brush and get that color in there. I want some of the yellow, so I want it quite brilliant. I don't want let me get that right by the bird's face, because that's going to be a dark area. You want to try to work with your values if you can. If you know what you're going to have as a light and a dark area, you want to kind of put those together and contrast them so they have some nice value change there. So things aren't like lost in gray. All right, now the next one is going to be a green. This is going to be my major one. I don't care that that's bursting like that. That's kind of a nice effect. But I just want to get this in here. Oh, that's dark. Let me see if I can wet that down a little. Ooh, wet that down a little bit. Yeah, I want to see green. I don't want to see dark, completely dark, because I need some green for the leaves. I just want a background on this. That's all I want this to do. Okay, get some in there, blend it in with the blue. It's not quite blending anymore because I think I'm losing my water. it's almost like watercolor. You have to keep it going, keep it wet. All right, so I don't want to mess with this too much more because I'm going to make a mess of it. That's a little bit dark blue right now. I like the color, but it's a little too dark blue. I kind of want to mimic the sky, so let me get some of that out of there. And something tells me to cover my ink, because if I don't cover it, I'm going to spill it, and it is ink, and it's going all over. All right, I wonder what would happen if I did this. See, half of art is just, there we go. See, that's what I wanted. Just a little light there. And I don't mind this darkness down here. In fact, I could balance it out with some darkness up there, but maybe I'll leave it for now. I can always go back and do that again later. Let me dry it off for now, rinse my water, get a new batch of water, and we'll start working with the stencils a little bit and layering. Now, I did change the tablecloth here, the newspaper tablecloth, because, of course, I didn't catch it on camera, but didn't I spill the best color ink all over the table and all over me? Of course, my favorite color, this is the one, I didn't even tell you what it was. 3/4 of the bottle's gone. I don't even know how much is left in here. It just boom right over, and that was it. Thank goodness these are in glass bottles, but still I tipped it. This is the sap green. Very, very beautiful color. Of course, you know, these things happen. What can I say? All right, we're going to move on. We're not going to let that get us. So the next step we're going to do is to develop the background a little bit more. And I'm going to use just some craft paint. This is just matte folk art acrylic. It's a vintage white color. I kind of like this one because it's not bright, you know, appliance white, should I say. I've got 2 of these, and I got these through like Temu, or what's the other one? Begins with an A. Alibaba or AliExpress. Not much, maybe $1 for both of them. So I think this one has a better texture and matches the leaves a little more. So I'll use this one. And I'm just going to use just like a regular craft dauber here. I'll get that a little wet, and so it won't just absorb paint. I got a plate, just a regular plate, plastic coated plate, and I'm just going to hopefully just pour a little bit of this on and not have it not have a disaster like I did with the ink. That really bugs me because that was one of my favorite colors. I really like that color. That was a very nice color. Okay, I'm going to start with a little bit. That's probably a little too much, but let's see. And I'm just going to, it looks like, see, there's a way it goes. This kind of goes up a little bit. This kind of goes, well, that one goes up a little too. That's all right. I can just go ahead and dab a little bit of this. I just want to get it on the tip like that, and then mush around a little bit so that it covers it evenly. It looks like a lot of paint, but it's kind of thick. All right, I don't want it too thick. I just want an even coating. It doesn't matter if it has a texture to it, but I want an even coating. Like, I don't want it. So I'm just going to see if I can keep that down a little bit and just dab it a little bit. Now I'm dabbing a lot of the color away, so I have to be careful how much I'm doing, because I just want to give a hint of texture in the background. I don't want to obliterate it completely because it is pretty. Oh, wow, that went right through. That's a little bit wet. See, this is why you need to test these things first. All right, I'm gonna do it down here too. Hopefully not everywhere. Maybe I need to make that drier. Let's see if I can make it drier. I think the water is what ruined it. If I can get some of that water out of there and just have the color of the paint, that is what I want. But you know, these things, these are the ways that you test your materials and you learn how they work. Okay, let's, you know what? I wonder if I can, while it's wet, pull that up. I can pull a lot of it up. Yeah, I can pull a lot of it up. Okay. Not too bad a disaster. Boy, I'm just having disaster after disaster here. What's going on? Okay. Let's play around some more. See what we get out of this. See if this is a little more what I'm looking to do. Just a little bit of the leaf texture. And I like that spotty texture too. That's kind of nice. This I don't want. See if I can get rid of that. I think that's dry now. Because it's underneath the, it's underneath this. So let me see if I can wipe that off on both sides. With my spotty green ink fingers. All right, let it go, let it go, let it go. You know, sometimes you just can't. Let me get some going in this direction, because that might be interesting. And see if I can... Maybe if this had thicker veins to it, this stencil, you know, the veins are kind of fine. They're very fine. I want to blend it in here. I don't want it to like stop. See, that's more what I'm looking for. Something like that. So now I understand that I have to do it with, I don't want to overdo it, but I'd like a little bit of a hint there too. Just a little hint. Like that, see? Just a little bit. So that's more what I was looking for. But, you know, you learn as well as I do. So maybe that helps you guys when you're trying to do something like this, that you don't overdo it and you kind of learn how to do it. I'm just wiping off the top and the bottom of the stencil because I'm turning it around. I'm turning it, you know, from this to this so that I get different directions. And what do I want to do here? I don't want to, maybe that. That kind of looks like a nice one there. If that's kind of coming off that. Now if I can get this paint just the right consistency, not too much and not too little, I can get kind of what I'm looking for. I seem to have to hold the stencil down a little bit when I'm doing this. And I don't want, again, to lose too much of that bright color. Not all of it anyway. But I do want this in the background. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Too much is no good. So you can see bits on there. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. Now I need to wash off this stencil. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and paint the leaves first because I'm not quite sure what color I want to paint the bird, and I don't have a reference actually. So it's that imagination. But I'm using my Soho Urban Artist acrylic set. It's a 24 color set from Jerry's, and I've had this for years. I do like the set. I like their oil set like this too. I always use their oils. They're really buttery, excellent quality. The paints are great. The only complaint I have is sometimes the caps are a little wonky. You have to be really careful putting the caps on and taking them off, because if you over tighten them, they break so easily. I'm really disappointed in the quality of the caps, but everything else about it is great. So I am using a sap green and a yellow ochre to kind of muddy it down a little bit. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and paint these. Watch these. Make sure that's dry. Paint these leaves a little bit. Give them a little bit of color there. Just a simple, quick coating of paint here. You have to work quickly with acrylics anyway because they tend to dry. I don't have a drying retardant medium on the palette today. I do have one, but I'm not using it. So let me see here. I think I'm going to go down a little bit more there. You don't want to use too much water with acrylics either because it'll make them thinner, but it will also it's not good for the paint. It ruins the viscosity. If you want a thinner paint, you should just get a medium and mix it with. I'm not that big on acrylics, so I can't really tell you what medium to use. I'm just going to flat paint these, the green I mixed here, and not worry too much about adding too much interest. I just want to get this on here, and then I can of course do some variations with the color. I've added too much water to that, but you know what? Isn't that nice? I can actually do that. Do you see what I did there? Let me do that to another leaf so you can see it. I want to work left to right though, because I really don't want to get something else all over my hands. Klutzy. Okay, you can't really see it on that one. I'll keep going till I can get one that you can really see it on. It's kind of small. This one's going to be small too. And see how I wasn't too worried about the edges there because I can go right over that ink. That ink is an acrylic ink and it will not re-wet with water. Now I'm going to keep the same thing and kind of give it a little pattern there. Alright, I'm running out of this paint, so I have to mix up another batch. All I did was take mostly the yellow ochre and add a dab of the green to it and just mix it around. And you know what? It doesn't have to match the first mixture very well. In fact, I can leave it a little streaky. That will add some interest. And I'm going to go ahead and go for this one. I should probably make it like a little darker or a little lighter. I think I'll make it a little darker. Just a little darker. So that it has some more interest. Gotta watch here because I'm getting to the bird's tail. Of course, with acrylics, you can go right over it. You make a mistake, whoops, you know, it's like oils. Just go right over it. It's not watercolor. So used to using watercolor that I don't want to, you know, go over the lines. Because with watercolor, it's a little more unforgiving. I'm trying to do like streaks in this, like that. You know, like you can see a little texture building in there where the leaves are going, like that. Okay, let's just keep going. I'm going to have to get some brown in there for the trunk or the tree branch. But next I have to decide what to color the bird. This is going to be a little tricky because maybe I'd like to pick up a little bit of the blue here and then make it a little bit of a yellow and white breast. I think that'd be nice. So let me go ahead and mix some colors and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to use a cerulean blue with a little bit of Prussian blue and a white and titanium white. I think that would be a nice mixture for this bird. So let's go ahead. I don't want to start too dark, so let me get a little more light in there and get this bird. Make sure I still have it in frame. Now I don't want it to be too different than the background. That's the trick though, because if it's too different, then if it's too much the same, it's not going to look good. I'm going to give him a little bit more of a darker tone later on. We just kind of go around his eye. That's it. I have to go around his eye and around the beak carefully. I think my leaves are still wet too, so I have to be very careful. Trying to leave that eye very round, because birds have a very round eye. They're not like some other animals that have an oblong eye, and that can make it look like a different animal completely. If you miss that eye, you don't get that right. I mean, you can be very gestural and not have it, the rest of the bird, anatomically correct, and it will look like a bird, but if you have that eye wrong, it just doesn't work. Okay, so we're good there. While I got this going, I want to see if I can keep it somewhat wet. Okay. I just stopped for a second. My daughter wanted to ask me something. You know, you build a studio so that you can go somewhere and work on things quietly, and everybody comes and sees what you're doing. Everybody wants to know what you're doing, which is okay. I'd be curious too. I just find it's funny that, you know, in a house, okay, you're walking from room to room. It's very easy to go in and say, hey, what are you up to? You know, but out here, they have to really specifically come in. They can't just, you know, walk by and say, oh, what are you doing? Okay, so I've got that there, and I've got the tail. The tail is going to have a little bit more of that, what did I say it was? Prussian blue in it. I'm going to put a little Prussian blue in it, not that much. Not that much. So what's good about this, you can kind of fudge it a little bit. I do want some, I want it to go up to there, up to the branch. Okay, and then this is going to be the fun part. Trying to get the wing a little bit with purple on it, but not like not so obvious, you know, just a little hint. And then maybe a little hint on his head. I'm like totally winging this. I don't know what I'm doing with this. I wonder if I should do that on the top of his head. Is that going to make him look funny? Of course I say him, you know. Bring it down to the beak. That just to add some interest. Just to make it different. And of course I go over the edge there. But, you know, just carefully. Let me mimic that on the other side here. Just have a little bit there. Then I got to pull this up a little bit. There. Now, should I have a little over his eye? I'm going to put a little bit over his eye. Oh, carefully. Like that. Just like that. That doesn't look too bad, actually. Okay, let me see if we can get... I know I want to get the feet in there. Alright, so cadmium orange, and I've already got yellow ochre. Let me do that. It will still read as an orange beak. It will still read as an orange beak. So I just have to do it very fine so I don't mess it up. Oh, very carefully. There we go. The canvas is getting in the way because there's a thing right there that I don't want. Okay, that actually looks okay. For the breast, I want to make that white mostly with a little pale yellow. So I'm going to take a lemon yellow. There's probably a bird I've seen in my subconscious that looks like this. And that's where I'm getting the colors from. So if you're a bird watcher and you know birds, let me know if I'm kind of on the right track here, because I'm thinking that I must have seen something like this before. Just right at the center there, and draw it down. Just draw it down like that. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. There we go. Just a little bit like that. Just like that. Just like that. Okay. Very nice. I want to get a little more yellow down here so that he's not completely white, but maybe a little whiter toward there and a little yellower, browner toward here. Like that. Okay, how's that? That's a little better. Okay, we're going to leave it at that because I don't want to mess it up too much. Now, we need an eye. I could use, geez, I've got dioxazine purple. I wonder if that's going to make a dark enough eye. I think it will. I think if I don't hit all of it, oh, this is going to be careful. If I don't hit all of it, I think I'll be okay. Because that's pretty dark. But you got to get a round eye. And it can't be too, it's got to be big enough for the bird, but not too big. I'll leave it like that. Sometimes you mess with it too much and you make too much of a mess. You know what I mean? Okay, all I need is the brown. It's not too bad for a bird that I don't have a reference for, I would say. For a picture I don't have a real reference for. Alright, I'm just going to finish up the branches, and that's it, because this video is getting too long. I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. Just for fun. Not a great bird picture, not a great mixed media. It feels like there still needs to be more layers on this, more to be done. A lot of people put words on mixed media, but I'm going to leave it at that and say that this is my finished piece. A few things have been going on behind the scenes, mostly personal things, nothing for art, so I haven't been filming very much lately, but I do have a little bit of an unboxing here, which I'll share with you. It's a really tiny one. There's one major thing in there, but let's go ahead to it because it came open. The front of it, the front flap was like totally open, and I thought, oh no, it was wide enough for something to come out. It was like that. And I said, like that, and I said, oh no. But fortunately, nothing was missing. I did have to open it, so I unfortunately have to deprive everybody of the fun pull tab that Jerry's includes. I could be naughty and just like pull it right now. No. Okay, you know what it sounds like, you know what the fun is, but okay, so we open it up here instead. And fortunately what saved it was they put this plastic here, this bubble wrap plastic, right on top of the package. So sorry about that. I was using a Sharpie marker and I kind of right on top of my nail. Nothing harmed, it just looks funny. But they did put this on top and that's what saved everything. So let's take this out of the way, get rid of it. There it is, gone. Okay, you can probably see what I've got in here a little bit. So I'll take this out first. I do some mixed media. I'm getting more into mixed media, and so I have some PBO Studio Acrylics Gel Matte Medium. Basically use it as a glue, you cover over things, and it has a matte finish on it, which is what I wanted. I do have a Mod Podge that has a glossy finish, and I don't always want to have a glossy finish, so I needed something that had a matte finish. And I did see The Unexpected Gypsy using this, and so I thought I would, on her channel, so I thought I would try this. Must be good. Must be good enough. Then I had these two boxes. Oddly, they're paints. They're replacements for paints I had before. Oddly, two of them came in the boxes, one in each box. And one, the boxes were closed. One was just like flying around in the loose big box, which is what I thought would get lost, but it didn't. I got all three. How I got all three, I don't know, but I did, which is good. Now, I would have put, like I took it out, you can fit two in a box, and one by itself, of course. But for some reason, I don't know, maybe they meant to do it and they forgot. I don't know what they did. Or they thought they couldn't fit two in a box, and they just threw one in by itself. They didn't have an extra box or what. Who knows? But they all arrived well. And I got these three kind of replacement colors for my basic set. I do have a Turner set, which is really, really nice. A Turner Professional set. I got it from Jerry's originally. I think it's an 18 tube set. They're not big, they're 5 mil, but you know, with watercolor like this, a little goes a long way, and they are very, very good quality. Very highly pigmented. I do like them. I believe Turner is from Japan. Is it from Japan? I don't know for sure, but they're really good, and I've been happy with them. So I'm replacing a couple that are running low on the on my other tubes. So I did get a sap green, a phthalo green yellow shade, and a permanent gamboge. What I'll do for you guys, since you know you may not know what the Turners are like, and it's always fun to see swatching when someone does an unboxing. I do like to see the swatching because it tells me whether or not I would like to try a certain product. So I'll hold those aside, and I'll go ahead and do a swatching on that a little bit later. But I wanted to show you the other things I got. This one is the main reason I ordered, and I really wanted it. I almost got it from Blick, but Blick was out of, I think this is what Blick was out of. I also wanted to get the Winsor & Newton dot card, but I think this is what Blick was out of. And I had enough for the free shipping, but instead of taking my order and shipping it when they had it, or shipping what they had and then shipping another batch later with this, they would only take the order for, their system would only take the order for the items that they had in stock, and it wasn't enough to make the free shipping. So unfortunately they lost the sale, and I bought it from Jerry's instead. But you know, they could have very well waited till they got it in stock and sent it all at once if it was a matter of shipping. So I don't quite know what happened there, but that's how they work it, so that's what I did. Anyway, this has been out for a little while. This is the Daniel Smith extra fine watercolors. This is the professional grade gouache and watercolor swatch set. You know, the the dot cards. So it looks like they already swatched out the gouache. I don't know if inside they've got... I'll open it up. Let's open it up and see. I hadn't opened it up yet. I just opened the box to make sure that everything was in the box. But here we go. Sorry for the noise. They are noisy. Of course, they give you the brochure. You get the brochure. I had a brochure from another dot card I did. It was like a 66 dot card. Beautiful, beautiful. The only thing I don't like, there's a couple things I don't like. Now this includes the gouache too, which is good. The only thing I don't like is with the dot cards, sometimes they are a little bit stingy. I would like to have enough of, enough paint on there to be able to not only swatch it, but also to be able to do like a little small painting. I don't need to do a huge painting. I just want to do a little small painting. And sometimes they don't include enough in certain colors for that. So why is this sticking together? This should not stick together. Oh dear. Wow. That should not. Wow. They didn't include a... Look at that. Well, that's good. Now I have paper on my dot cards. Oh, that's nice. Well, shout out to Daniel Smith for that. They should have a protective covering like this. They should have an acetate on all of it. See, that acetate covers it. Even that pulled off. Well, that's weird. Well, anyway, we are going to go ahead and swatch this at a later date because I do want to... Wow, this one's stuck too. There we go. Look at that. Boy. And I don't know if this has to do with what happened during shipping or what, but they should have... Oh, come on. They should have a protective layer. Wow, that's really bad. So I'm going to have to go around all this little stupid little paper and try to get nice swatches of color without the paper. It's like tissue paper. Getting caught up in that. Anyway, I wanted to get all the colors there so I could see what these would be like. And I will try these at a later date. The other thing I don't like about the swatch cards, besides them not giving you a whole lot in the sample swatch, is that they've got all these really nice bits of information here. It tells you what they're available in. Are they available in 15 milliliter, 5 milliliter, whether it's light, whether it's I don't know if it's light, shows the light fastness. That's the opacity. It tells you what series it is, so you can figure out what the price is. I'm not quite sure what the 11Y is. 11Y, 11N. I'm not quite sure what that is. I'll have to look that up. Then hopefully there is a table in here or legend. Yeah, I don't see where it says that. But anyway, I'll have to figure that out. I don't like that they have all this nice information here and they put the dot right smack in the middle of it. You've got a pretty decent paper that they swatch it, or that they dot the dot onto. But they should put it like either to the left or the right, because I'd like to activate it and then kind of move the water over, move the color over, so I can see how it fades out a little bit. So I'm going to have to make another card on some good watercolor paper. I will use watercolor paper that is of very good quality, 100% cotton, something that I will paint on anyway, to give a good idea of what the colors will look like on my finished painting. There's no sense in using cheap paper for swatching if you can afford it. If you can at all, spend the money on good paper, good quality, 100% cotton watercolor paper. Try to use the one you're going to use for most of your paintings, whatever texture that might be, whether it's cold press, hot press, not, whatever country you're from that you're familiar with. The texture is important too, because that will give you any granulation information that you may want to know about the swatching that you're doing. Anyway, it's a little pet peeve that they kind of put the dot right smack in the middle. I wish they put it toward the end. And again, they really need to do something about that. Putting some kind of protective layer in between. I'm also going to have to cut a layer of glassine to put between each of these pages, which I do have, but there's another thing I have to do, which they should do. For the price that you pay for these, they should have that already done. Anyway, here's the gouache portion of it. So they've got all their gouaches down there. That's nice. So I can try that too. Okay, now I'll put this away. The brochure gives you like all the colors that they've got and the gouache they've added to that. Okay, so that's nice, handy that they have that included in there. But they should maybe pay more attention to getting things to you in good shape than worrying about marketing. All right, that said, I'm going to try to put it in here, and we can't on camera, of course, so we're going to move on. I don't want to take up time and do this. We're going to move on. Okay, the other thing I got was something I saw. Who uses this? It is Amy from Winterwood Studio. She gave me the idea to do this. Now I have a, oh, there we go. Well, oh, here's a surprise. Okay, now I see why the one tube came without, just loose. It actually came out of the box. So credit to Jerry's. They did put it in a box. It just kind of broke out. All right. See what happens when you jump to conclusions. Bad me, or my bad. Okay, but Amy from Winterwood Studio said these are very good, and this is actually a very nice size. She likes this size too, but I like it as well. It's a perfect size for 9 by 12. It's 11 by 14. It is a hardboard. Now, this is really meant to paint on. So it will take water, it will take moisture, it'll take tape, but she uses this to put her papers on, to tape her watercolor papers on, and her, whatever she's working on, she tapes it down on this, and that way you can move it around on your table, you can hold it sideways, prop it up, whatever you need to do. You don't have to sit there with just your watercolor block and try to support it, or with a piece of paper and tape it to your table and get your table all messy and everything. This is going to get messy, so I'm planning on that, but I'll be able to use it, pull the tape up, use it again, pull the tape up, so I'll be able to use it over and over again. As I said, I do have one for watercolor that is made out of, it's almost like a foam core board, but it's huge. It's a little too big for me, and this is like the next size down, and this will be perfect for a 9 by 12 paper for me to work on. So those are the few things I got from Jerry's. Not a lot, just some things to replace items I had and to supplement things that I'm already doing. Okay, so now we're going to move on. I promised I would swatch these out for you. So let me readjust my camera a little bit and I will be back. Alright, so I'm just using, I have something that I've used before. I really like this paper. I've used these for swatching before and just for doodling and stuff, using to test things out. This is, of course, upside down. My bad. This is the Canson XL Mixed Media Multimedia paper. It's a 98 pound, 160 gram, 7 by 10, 60 sheet pad. It's just a spiral bound, just simple things, something you can use to, to doodle and sketch on, and I use it for swatching too. This is just to see the color. It's not to see how it will perform on the paper that I intend to use it on. I already have these colors, so I know what they're like, but you may not have them. You may want to see what they're like, so I'm going to swatch them just for that, just for your benefit. So first I have Permanent Gamboge. Don't know if that will focus on there. And this is PY 150, PY 110, PY 109. with the 3-star light fastness rating. Hopefully this doesn't, you know, sometimes when you open these things, they come gushing out. I don't want that to be the case because I don't have anything to put it in. I don't have my palette here. But I'm going to go ahead and get some of this on here. And that one, I don't have very much on there. Not a lot went on the cap, but that's okay. So let me see if we have that there. Everybody knows what this looks like, but as far as the brand, maybe you don't know. It's very, very pigmented. I love this brand. It's actually very reasonable price. And they've got a nice range of colors, so I really can recommend these. If you are moving up from, you know, basic paints, student grade paints to professional paints, you want to try professional paints without spending a lot of money, I can definitely recommend these. These are really nice, good quality paints. I've got my set originally at Jerry's and I still use it. I still do use it. I like my Schmenka, but I still use these. Okay, now this one's going to be very, very strong. As you know, phthalo green is a very, very strong color. And you can see how strong it is. Very, very vibrant. Very, very pigmented these are. A little goes a long way. So there's that. And keep an eye on Jerry's because from time to time they do have sales on this. This is like one of the few sets they do have good sales on. And you can get, you know, 12, 18, whatever they come in, 24 set, you know, and set yourself up for a professional set, a nice professional set, without spending a lot of money. Okay, now let's see what this one is. I don't seem to be getting a lot on that one. This one seems a little less concentrated, but still a nice color. This is the sap green, and this one is PG36 and PY110. I didn't give you the phthalo green, yellow shade. That is PG36. That's the straight PG36. For those of you who want to know what the shade is or what the color is. Okay, so those are the colors that are replacing my my colors that are running down. Okay. I had enough fun for today. It's 10:30 and I've got to get on and do some other things inside the house. I can't play in the studio and hide in the studio all day today. So with that said, I hope you had some fun today watching this. This isn't my best work. I'll have to say that. I do like the way the background came out. I really do like that. So I might do that again and play around with this, particularly this part. You know, these things here. Hopefully I won't spill the ink again all over. And I don't know. I'll be back to have more fun next time though. So thanks for joining me so much. I really am glad to share this time with you. I hope you still like the video. Give it a thumbs up, like it if you liked it. And if you didn't like it, give it a thumbs up anyway. And I will try to get another video to you as soon as I can. Take care and be creative.